Hey, what's up guys, MGH here, welcome back to another video, and as you know, over the last few days, maybe the last week or so, I've been uploading quite a lot of FIFA 19 content, and I thought, because I've had a lot of my opinions in these videos, I wanted to get your opinions. I wanted to ask you guys a question over on my Twitter, which is, as you can see on screen right now, official MGH, but it is, what is the one feature you would want in FIFA that has never been seen before? Now, first of all, let's reword this question because a lot of people didn't quite answer it the way I was expecting. So ignore the what we've never seen before bit and just think of things that you guys want to see in the game just to improve it, to make it more fun. I got a lot of replies, almost 300. So I thought, I've got to make a video on this because some of your feedback, some of your ideas are absolutely fantastic. And there's also quite a few funny ones. One quick word of warning though, I haven't gone through these tweets entirely yet. There could be some rude tweets. I get quite a lot of abuse on Twitter sometimes, especially when it comes to my own opinions on football, whatever. So if you are young and you don't want to see swear words or potentially other bad things, then please do click away. But it should be fine. It's pretty tame. It's just about FIFA. So I'm just going to go through them all, no matter what they say, unless, you know, they make no sense. I'll probably just skip through them. But let's start off here with Reese. He says, being able to be unemployed in career mode. So similar to Football Manager where you start your career unemployed. When you get fired in career mode, you're instantly given offers to other clubs. Typically clubs that are not so good as the club you've just been at, which makes sense. But there's no choice to kind of go unemployed for a gap. Maybe, you know, finish the season unemployed and then start fresh next season. So that's a really good idea, Reese. It's something I thought about before. I don't think it's going to be in FIFA 19, but maybe I can add it to the yearly list that I send off to EA, of which they don't seem to read, if I'm honest. Interviews to become a manager. Yeah, that's another cool one. Anything to do with having to give answers or give choices is always good in my book. Career mode is a story after all, and it'd be great if we had more ability to speak out, you know, and not just make decisions because you need to have the board asking you, why did you sign this player for this much? And, you know, what does he bring to the... It'd be more cool, wouldn't it? And especially if you had to do an interview to get the job you want. That would make it even better, but I doubt it will be added. That's the thing. A lot of these things that we see and a lot of the features that we all want just simply won't be in the game because career mode isn't a money maker for them. Sure, it might sell a couple copies because of career mode being on it. A lot of people love career mode. But realistically, the cash cow is Ultimate Team. So unless someday career mode becomes... I don't want to say like pay to win, but, you know, have microtransactions in it that help you, maybe give you more budget, improve your players. It will never be as good as we want it to be because there's no reward for EA to make it better in a way. In career mode, at the start of a new season, you can create your own kits instead of using the old kits. I mean, this is something that gets talked about every single year, especially if you're doing a career mode where you're 6, 7 years, maybe even 8 seasons into it, and everyone's still got the same kits. The problem is licensing. You can't just randomly add a new sponsor. You can't just change the Arsenal kit to have an Adidas kit because they've got official licensing in the game and you can't just play around with it. So unless they completely make up sponsorships and shirt designs, this won't happen. But we'll see. Maybe one day. That'd be cool. Not licensed sponsors, but in-game sponsorships like in FIFA 08. Yeah, so what Eloy says here, that's a cool name, by the way, Eloy Espinoza. I don't know if that's your real name, but it's cool. They used to add fake sponsors into the game, fake brands, things like that. I don't see why that's been removed. Under 23s in career mode, being able to sign players for the youth squad and calling up youngsters for games, etc. This is something that I've talked about with them personally for a while. I've said, let's separate the squad, the first team squad with the reserves and have under 23s, under 19s, and be able to move the players around. So let's just say Maitland-Niles, for example, at Arsenal, has a bad few games and you just want to drop him into the under 23 squad or the reserves so he can get some game time outside of the Premier League. That'd be a really cool way to get maybe a player back in form. And it can get messy having so many players in one area. It'd be nice if we could categorise them a little bit more. A few no's and yeses there. Watch the FA Cup draw live to see who you get instead of looking on the calendar. I need to make sure I've actually got these in the screen. It's a bit difficult. I can see what I'm recording on the left, but it's different to what I see here. So we're talking about this one here. Now, I can reveal pretty much 100% confirmed that in FIFA 19 there will be the Champions League draws as cinematics, as cutscenes, if you will. Same with the Europa League, and I'm hoping we'll see other things included as well. Maybe the FA Cup, maybe the League Cup. It depends on, well, how much they want to add, really. But I have seen comments from the developers, at least, on Twitter that have been retweeted, whatever, where someone has said there will be more cutscenes. There'll be more things to do when it comes to watching the story unfold, if that makes sense. So you'll see your team being called out in the Champions League draw, which is very cool. So this one, I think, is actually coming true. Being a youth team coach and then getting the job offers in the lower leagues to work your way up, yeah, very similar to what we spoke about earlier. I'd like to start from scratch and not just jump into a club sometimes. But you can technically do that. You could just, play with Portsmouth, and then as you get more offers throughout your seasons with Portsmouth, you can just take them and join other clubs. But it's not very realistic. You don't really get approached very often. You just check your offers, and that's a little bit meh. Battle Royale, I'm sure I'm going to get many of these in this episode. Okay, so Abu Usman says, it would be great to see clubs who want to buy your players able to offer players in exchange from their team for once. Being able to communicate with players, like tell them why they're not playing and asking them for suggestions on who to sign, that would be impressive in my opinion. So, again, a very good suggestion, or both very good suggestions. I have always wondered why we're able to approach a player or a team and say, we want this player, we'll offer you this player as a swap, or this player plus 5 million, but they don't do it back. They never, imagine if you're doing a career mode and one of your better players is a hot prospect, he's in the news, everyone wants to sign him, and you're thinking to yourself, well, I can't replace him. So unless people offer me a player plus a bit of money, I won't sell him. Then suddenly out of the blue, Bayern Munich come and offer you 50 million plus Iron Robin or whatever. It's a great way to just change it up a little bit. And I'd love it. I really would. I don't see that happening anytime soon. Talking to players, a lot of these suggestions we're going to see are probably from Football Manager. That's something you can do in that game, which I highly recommend if you enjoy career mode, but you like more of the database style interactions. And I like the gameplay of actually playing a match, whereas, Football Manager, of course, don't do that. Training ground on pro clubs. This isn't just career mode we're talking about, by the way. This is just FIFA in general. So training grounds on pro clubs. Although I do have a lot of followers that play career mode. That's a great idea, just to be able to muck around on the training pitch with your friends, maybe. They had it in old NHL pro clubs too, and they took it out. This is a thing that FIFA have done, or EA, I should say, have done for many, many years. They take features out, and everyone complains about it, and then a couple of years later, you see it return as a new feature, which is a little bit misleading. We are going to be seeing that in FIFA 19 with the House Rules game mode. It's very similar, by the way it looks, to Lounge mode, which was back in FIFA 11, FIFA 10, was taken out in FIFA 12, and now it looks like it's coming back. Let's keep going down here. We've got be a ref. That is a very common one. Being a referee, though, I think would be very boring after a couple of games. I'm not so sure if it would ever be... Yeah, like you just said, it would be boring. I'm not sure it would be a great addition to the game, if I'm honest. It might be fun as, a lot of games that I play, Heroes of the Storm, Overwatch. They have these kind of events or brawls, special events that are only on for a while. Maybe if EA did something like that in the future, like an arcade mode, and they had be a ref, then maybe. But I don't think it would be a fully fleshed out feature, if I'm honest. A form of FIFA Street in the game, so you pick 5 players and play. There have been rumours that that's going to be in the House Rules game mode, but who knows. Hopefully in the next few weeks, I should know when the capture event is going to be, and hopefully I'll be invited, and I'll know these things, and hopefully I'll be allowed to tell you. That's called FIFA Street, it's a game itself. I would love a FIFA Street in FIFA. It would be awesome. Imagine it in Ultimate Team, using the Ultimate Team cards. Please don't text me now, I'm recording a video. Online career mode. I don't really want to talk about this because I've nailed it every single year in these wish list videos, I guess. I talk about it, I nail it every single year. I get it right on point and I talk about it, but there's just no point. It's not coming. It won't be in FIFA 19 and it probably won't be in FIFA 20 or more. I don't see it coming, and it's a real big shame because I think it's a game changer. It's the one thing that we desperately want, isn't it, as career moders? We love it. Multiplayer career mode, yeah, same thing. Managers actually leaving a club in career mode. Yeah, imagine if you got like a news flash and that Chelsea had sacked their manager. I mean, who would be surprised? And that you could apply. You know, that'd be really cool. More real faces. Yeah, this is why the original tweet that I made obviously doesn't really make sense now, because we've seen real faces added in all the time. But there are some key players every single year that don't have their face. They update it every now and again. The World Cup update was great. They added a few in, like Salah's new real face and his proper hair. But that just takes time. It's a logistics thing. If they want to get all the player faces, they quite literally have to travel around the world. And it costs a lot of money to do it, I'm sure. I don't know if it's ever been seen before, but a career mode where you create your own clubs, kit, stadium, you get 30 random, not very good players, and you start in the 2nd or 3rd division. Back to the start type feature, start from scratch feature. That'd be great. I think it has been done somewhat with the creator thing. Oh, that takes me back. I can't remember what it was called in FIFA. There was something like that. It was the creation mode or creative mode. I can't remember, but nothing quite like that. And it would be great, wouldn't it? Imagine being able to build your own stadium. The problem is, I know you didn't mention that, but the problem with building a new stadium is they'll just add generic stadiums that you can maybe add a slightly larger end on, you know, and more boxes, and you know, it might not be that detailed, but it'd be still cool if you could change, you know, the stands and, like I said, the boxes where all the executives watch the game. You can make it look a bit more flashy as you get more money and more success in the career mode. But I think things like that, especially as it's pretty aesthetic, you know, you could just use a default stadium. It wouldn't really matter, would it? That it's not a priority, but it would be great, of course. Basically, franchise mode, that's exactly it. FIFA 08 and 09 had it. Apparently, I can't remember, honestly, especially when it's off the top of my head. I'd need to go back and have a look. Getting subbed on or off by the manager in player career mode, doesn't that happen already? You get subbed off. But you can't get subbed... Oh, he literally says it there. You can get subbed off, but not on. Yeah, I mean, that should be a thing, shouldn't it? You should get to the 60th minute, and if you're losing and you're a striker, why wouldn't they put you on? Jeez, we're not even halfway through, and I've done over 10 minutes. Okay, what we're going to do is just scroll through quite a few here. Actually, we've got one from a good friend of mine, Mark. If you're watching, Mark, here we go. Realism mode in career mode, optional. Stuff like having to justify declining huge offers, massively overspending on a player, getting actively approached by other clubs looking for a manager of your caliber, the option to be a national team manager only. Yeah, that's a huge one. That's a good suggestion. I love the fact that we can manage a national team, but the fact that it's added on top of the club management, it can get a little bit overwhelming. It's a little bit tedious, actually. Sometimes you find yourself getting into the flow with one side, you know, maybe playing 4 or 5 games in a row with your club, getting into a real flow, and then suddenly you're asked to go and play Egypt and South Africa in a friendly with Belgium, and it's like, it'd be cool if you could separate them a bit. That would be cool. Technically, you could just do a tournament mode, I guess, and pick a national team that way, but it's cool to have it in career mode. It feels nice knowing that you've got an offer, you've gone ahead and accepted it, you're now going to take this team to glory, but you've got your club as well. And of course, that's totally unrealistic. How many managers in the real world of football have a national job and a club job? It's not true. It just doesn't happen. I've mentioned a few of the other things, but that's a good suggestion, Mark. Let's see what else we got here. Here's another one of those youth squads. EA could do something game-changing introducing this. Yeah, just having like an academy in your team, it'd be great. All the details from Football Manager, never going to happen. Unfortunately, career mode in FIFA is very basic. If you compare it to a game which is all about club management like Football Manager, it's not really a fair comparison. For me, career mode is gameplay and then the actual management, whereas Football Manager is, of course, the football management, the details of it all, then the actual games themselves. Of course it is like that. You can't even play the matches. You simulate it, but you obviously take control. FIFA isn't like that. It's always going to be about the gameplay itself, and unfortunately that means we won't get as much details as we see in other football management games. A lot of these are quite similar, actually, like under 23 and under 18s, the National League, career mode major overhaul. Yeah, we would love that, wouldn't we? To play as the current manager of your chosen club. To play? Oh, sorry, I didn't read it properly. You mean like be Unai Emery? Yeah, that makes sense. Like if you're an Arsenal fan, you can manage as Unai Emery instead of making your own manager. That would be cool, actually. I've actually been able to do that recently on the FIFA 18 PC version because you can mod it. So I've actually added in a few managers myself. But it would be cool if it was official, wouldn't it? Let's continue going down here. FIFA Street kind of mode. A whole new player career. Expand your stadium. Create your own club. You guys have all of the suggestions I'm expecting, and it's such a shame that as I read through this, it's very, very unlikely that it's going to happen. This is a key one. You know, I've made a video based on this exact concept. I made it, I think, end of FIFA 16, maybe end of FIFA 17, if I remember correctly, but training players is great. I love being able to train them and increase their stats, but what I really want is the ability to change their position. If I want to make my centre-back a CDM, I should be able to do that. If I want to make my CDM a central attacking midfielder, I should be able to do that. It's very limiting, you know, training. You can only do their stats, but, you know, some players throughout their careers change position a lot. You know, happened on Real recently. Always has been a left-sided player. You know, he played, I think, left wing when he was a kid, left back, and now he's kind of a centre-back. You know, he's changed his position, and that's because the team needed it. You should be able to do that. If you're lacking defensive options, why can't you retrain a midfielder to play as a centre-back, even if it does take a few months? And some people say, well, just play them in defence. It doesn't matter that his actual position isn't right for that position. Like it's not like you can't do it, but it's the realistic feel to the career mode that I like. I want to be able to take control of my players in terms of training their new positions as well, not just their stats. That'd be really good. Good refs. There are so many here, guys. I really appreciate all of the feedback. I mean, look at this. This is just from one tweet. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter for, you know, future videos like this, then please do. But to be fair, I think we've gone through the majority of this. The only thing I'm yet to see is something about the way potential works in career mode. So let me quickly hit on that. So let me scroll back up to the top because then it looks a little bit nicer for the video. So one thing I've always thought is wrong with the system in place in FIFA when it comes to potential is that everything is pretty much set in stone. Some players have a potential and they will just hit that potential if they play. That's wrong. You have to perform well to fulfill your potential, right? Reiss Nelson, let's say he's got a potential of 86 in FIFA 19. After a year or two in the game, or maybe 3 seasons I should say, maybe even 4, he will be 86. No matter how much you play him, no matter how badly or well he plays, he will hit 86, and it's very unlikely he'll go above it. Potential for me is a number that they can achieve if they play well. If they consistently perform, that's the number they can get to. And they should be able to exceed it if they play exceptionally well. But if you don't play a player like Reiss Nelson, if he gets loaned out and doesn't get many games, and then you bring him back to the club and then you barely play him, he shouldn't grow much. Sure, maybe 1 or 2 every now and again just through experience of watching football, let alone playing it, but it doesn't make sense for a player that barely gets used in your team to hit a certain potential, and that's just it. So that is something that, well, it's not just something I want, it's necessary. It's an absolute must. If they don't adjust the way potential works, we're going to continue to see this decline in career mode because everyone buys the same players. We need to be able to sign an unknown player that no one knows about in a career mode, play with them, and if you score loads of goals with them, get loads of assists, or make loads of tackles if he's a defender, or if he makes loads of saves as a goalkeeper, he can become a world great. Even though he hasn't got the potential to be that, he became it. That's what I would like to see with potential. But that's going to be the end of this video. I've gone on for way too long, and it feels like I've been here for 2 minutes. You know, I'm very passionate about this, and I think I'll be doing more of this throughout the years I'm still doing YouTube. So thank you so much for your feedback on Twitter. Make sure you follow me @officialmgh. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well, guys, and I will see you next time.